Hello everyone, it's the Goof. So there's something I want to talk about, and that is Starlink. Starlink and who it's for, more specifically. Starlink is for rural areas. It's for places that aren't densely populated. It's not for people who have wired options or who live in high population areas. That means big cities and whatnot. And it's also not meant to compete with wired companies, big telecos. And actually, I actually have a little bit of proof of that. I am on this is the Starlink Reddit, and it's this is their fax. This is a Starlink fax. So I'm going to go through this real quickly and try to talk about a few things. And I actually like doing searches for words. So let's talk about, type in the word rural. What is Starlink? We'll start with this. What is Starlink? Starlink is a constellation of thousands of satellites in low Earth orbit being set up to provide low-cost, high-performance internet access anywhere in the world. Tom Pradario, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, a SpaceX firmware engineer, said during a live launch commentary, quote, "This system, if successful, would provide people in low to moderate population densities around the world with affordable high-speed internet access, including many who have never had internet access before." That sort of tells me that this is, again, it's what I've been saying. If you're in the city, you're not getting this. And I don't know if it'll ever be available in the city. In cities and high-density packed areas. So, but we'll keep talking about this. Keep reading. Unveiling the project in 2015, Elon said, "The focus is going to be on creating a global communication system in the long term. It will be like rebuilding the internet in space. The goal will be to have the majority of internet traffic go over this network and about 10% local and business traffic." In June 2019, Elon said the value of Starlink is to provide low latency, high bandwidth internet access to the sparse and moderately sparse and relatively low density areas. Rural and semi-rural places that don't have any or any adequate internet access are optimal and will target 3 to 5% of people in the world. It is not well suited for high density cities. And I really doubt they're going to give it to you if you have better options. And I'm sorry, I considered a wired option better. And I don't consider dial-up better, but I do consider a wired option like fiber better. You're getting even less ping than this will offer. SpaceX has promised to deploy up to 11,943 satellites and is requesting permission to deploy up to 30,000 satellites in other orbits, partially replacing the existing authorization. See below for more details. The name was inspired by the fault of our stars. Apparently that's where they got Starlink from. At first I was confused when I heard about Starlink. I thought they were talking about the game Battle for Atlas. But no, it's not the game Battle for Atlas. It's an internet service. I'm trying to figure this out. So let's go down the list real quick. What is Starlink? I can see the satellite. Can I see these satellites in my sky? That's not the stuff I want to read about. I want to read about who this is for. I keep seeing videos that have a lot of misinformation that make it sound like anybody anywhere can get this when that's not true. What milestones need to be before you do? What speed can we expect of the average user? This is interesting, but I think I will talk about what speeds can be expected for the average user. Quote, service levels of 100 megabits per second. Now keep in mind, megabits, when it comes to megabits, put a dot right here before the last zero, and that tells you how many megabytes you get. You get about 10 megabytes, which is pretty good. And since it's megabits, that means you get 4 megabytes upload. That's actually good. That's what they're anticipating. That's what's anticipated. And it was wrote by a sales engineer to a Nebraska Rural Broadband Task Force. in July 2019. CEO of Tape Arc, who has been working with SpaceX to explore uses of Starlink to support oil and gas exploration, said a higher speed of 1 gigabit is possible with dual parabolic and parabolic antennas. My pronunciations, my reading, it's hard, it's bad, sorry. Antennas on research vessels. SpaceX demonstrated a 610 megabits per second, so 61.0 megabits per second, provided in flight to the cockpit of a military aircraft. The test didn't use retail Starlink antenna, though. It used something different. When asked about user experience in March 2020, Elon said that users will be able to watch HD movies and play video games without noticing the speed. I guess he meant lag. Not speed, but lag. How much will it cost per month? Unknown. SpaceX stated goal is giving people affordable, quote, affordable high-speed internet access. Any talk of price is pure speculation at this point. In May of 2020, Elon said the cost of the user terminal itself is the biggest challenge. He expects it will take a few years to solve that issue. So it's going to be expensive. I'm hearing a few $100s for the terminal, which if I have to save it up, I will. Maybe he'll have a pricing plan where they add a little extra onto your monthly bill to lease the hardware, to lease the terminal and whatnot. Will there be service in my country? I'm not going to read all of this. I mean, I guess I should. I'm pretty sure there's people watching me who live in certain places. So, let's see what they say. The satellites will cover the entire world. However, actually getting access will require your country's government's permission. SpaceX is focused to offer services in the United States and Canada first. In countries where SpaceX where they're allowed, they are likely to sell directly to consumers, according to Shotwell. I don't know who Shotwell is. Outside the United States, SpaceX is working nation by nation to get authorization to offer the service. Quote, every country has its own process, said Shotwell. I don't know who this Shotwell is. Elon, hopefully working in Caribbean by the end of 2020. Definitely by 2021. Germany, probably 2021. Depends on regulatory approvals. Hopefully start serving Africa early next year. So there you go for you folks. It's looking pretty bright for you folks. So there you go. I went ahead and read that for you guys. Well, will Starlink be available in dense urban areas and cities? Here we go. This, I think, will help a bit. Elon, we'll have some small number of customers in Los Angeles, and I think he's talking about businesses. I don't think he's talking about... And he might be talking about people that even though they're in the cities, nobody wants to run the wiring to. That can happen. I've seen it happen maybe just outside of the city, things of that nature. I don't think that this is... I think this is for businesses. But we can't do a lot of customers in Los Angeles because the bandwidth per cell is simply not high enough. Also, I want to be clear. It's not like Starlink is a huge threat to telecos. That's a clear indication that he has no intention of bringing it to an area where they have the other telecos, which means it's not going to compete with those, which means if you already have those guys as an option, they're probably not going to give this to you. And that's the misconception I keep seeing. I keep seeing people going, I can't wait to give Comcast the middle finger and dump their asses. That's not going to happen. It's not for you. You're going to want to keep them. So I want to be super clear. It is not. In fact, it will be helpful to telecos because Starlink will serve the hardest to serve customers that telecos otherwise have trouble doing with landlines or even with a cell radio station or cell towers. What are some geopolitical issues Starlink may face outside of the United States? SpaceX is working nation by nation to get authorization to offer the service. Every country has its own process. Shotwell. Yeah, I don't know who Shotwell is. Elon on the issue back in 2015. From our standpoint, we could conceivably continue to broadcast, and they'd have a choice of either shooting our satellites down or not. China can do that, so we probably shouldn't broadcast there. So, people in China, you're probably not going to get their service there. Probably not. If they get upset with us, they can blow our satellites up. I mean, I'm hopeful that we can structure agreements with various countries to allow communication with their cities, but it is on a country-by-country basis. I don't think it's something that would affect the timeline, at least. It's not going to take longer than 5 years to do that. Not all countries will agree at first. There will always be some countries that don't agree. That's fine. Emphasis added. Per the ITU Constitution, the U.S. signed all telecommunications, including satellite communications, are regulatory by nations. Quote, while fully recognizing the sovereign right of each state to regulate its telecommunication, the state parties to this Constitution have agreed. In theory, all countries should respect fair trade treaties they signed, but in reality, some countries may impose higher fees or unacceptable conditions on Starlink. Is this the job of the U.S. government to make other countries abide to fair trade policies? I don't know what's going on. This one's a good question. Can I replace my cell phone? No, it's not meant to replace your cell phone service because of the antenna required. Now, they say that, but I'm pretty sure it can help you with a house phone. I wouldn't see why it couldn't do that. I'm pretty sure you can set up some kind of house phone through the internet. I've seen that happen with other satellite companies, so you're just not replacing your cell phone. I would, however, replace my plan. My plan is too expensive, and if I get this, I'm going to want to move funding from one thing to another that I'm going to use more. And I'm at home more than anything, so I'm going to want to use broadband, and I know I'm getting nasally, and I'm sorry. I'm going to want to use, I'm going to want to have more money allocated to my broadband service at home than on my phone. And Verizon's probably might watch this video, and if they did, their reaction would probably be, fuck! And I'm sorry for cursing, but that's probably going to be their reaction. They're going to be like, damn it! What kind of antenna does it use? There's your antenna. That's what it used. By the way, I don't have it on me. I don't have one on me. I think there's one in the living room, but it's the size of a medium pizza box. That's it. It's about this size. It's about this size. It's not that big. It's not whoosh. It's not like the one I had outside for Viasat. Holy crap, that thing was pretty big. So it's not that. This is it right here. It's a medium-sized pizza, basically, and it's on a thing where it goes, like, here it is, and I don't know how to demonstrate it. Here's the dish, okay? Imagine that as the dish. Okay, it tilts to follow the thing, and it tilts back the other way. That's all it does. All you have to do, from what they've stated, is place it somewhere and point it at the sky, and it knows what it's doing. Here's a actual quote. Elon said that, quite, it looks like a thin, flat, round UFO on a stick. Starlink terminal has motors to self-adjust for optimal angle to view sky. Instructions are simple. Plug in socket, point at sky. These instructions work in either order. No training required. There's not going to be a need for anybody to install this bitch. I don't think. I could be wrong. I think that there's not going to be a need. I should stop saying I don't think. I should start saying I think there will not be a need for installations or installers. The terminal contains, and how long have I been talking? 14 minutes. The terminal contains a flat phased array antenna about the size of a medium pizza box, according to Elon. 0.48 meters or 19 inches in diameter, according to SpaceX filings. The antenna consists of a large number of small antennas working together to steer the signal in a specific direction. That allows the signal to track a Starlink satellite as it passes overhead, and then switch to the next one when the first is out of range. According to Starlink's filing, operation at elevation angles below 40 degrees is achieved by tilting the antenna. That's why they do the my question is, how often is it going to be doing that? Because that's electricity being used. I've actually seen the filing and the documentation showing that it's hooked up to this power thing that goes up through like the wire that goes to the dish, so it gets power from in your house. So pretty sure it's going to be using electricity. It's going to be just how often is my question. How often will that happen? Can I mount one of can I mount one on my car for internet access on the road? When asked about the possibility of Tesla vehicles using Starlink, Elon said it's possible, but they would need to design a smaller antenna for sedans. See also the photos of the first Starlink antenna above. The antenna is designed to tilt, so it's not clear what will happen if it is fixed to a roof of a car. Maybe not even a car, but fixed to people who are in their campers and they like to travel the U.S. You've seen it, RVs. So I don't know if they'd be able to use it while driving down the road. I would assume they'd at least be able to use it after they parked somewhere. So that's cool. Regardless of antenna models, Starlink will not work in your garage. A covered parking lot or in a tunnel. Trees could be a problem as well. Starlink service to mobile terminals could be cut off or heavily limited in dense urban areas. So, yeah. What kind of latency is expected? Isn't satellite internet latency very high? Elon aiming for sub 20 ms latency initially, sub 10 ms over time, with much greater consistency than terrestrial links, as only ever a few hops to major data centers. The existing satellite internet service is provided by geostationary satellites, as the current ones, and they're up there like at 22,000 miles. At such a high altitude, signal propagates at least the 477 ms through space. If user is at the equator, longer at higher latitudes. First Starlink satellites will be orbiting much lower at 550 to 342 miles in the sky, making significantly lower latency possible. What do we know of the satellites? I don't really want to read all this. What are the orbit satellites? Yada, yada, yada. What do we know about the ground infrastructure? With so many satellites, is there a risk of Kessler syndrome? Is when satellites crash into each other, creating debris field that in turn crashes into others? I don't think that's going to happen. What is the bandwidth? The centers? Terabits per second. I wish they would go with terabytes instead of bits. I understand bytes more than bits. Will there be data caps? This is bugging me. Unknown, pure speculation at this point. How many launches will SpaceX need to get for? Yeah, I'm not even going to read that. I know some of you might want to know, but it's pointless. The main thing I wanted to talk about was if it's available in your area. I'm basically just going down, seeing where they talk about it. How much will it cost? SpaceX, blah, blah, blah. Will Starlink support net neutrality? There's no firm details about this at this point. I doubt they'll block you in the U.S. from going to a website. I doubt it. I doubt they'll block you from services. They're not like the other companies. They're not offering their own TV services and whatnot. And I don't think they will. So I doubt that they're going to compete and try to close. Or actually, I wouldn't even use the word compete. It's not competing. It's anti-consumer when they do this. I don't think people are going to have an issue. And I don't think, I do think there's going to be net neutrality to an extent. Will SpaceX publish some sort of warrant canary? I don't know what that is. What kind of network will it run? Frequencies, What are the advantages of satellite over fiber? What is the disadvantage? What makes Starlink different from other satellite solutions? This is something I will read about. Current satellite solutions have limited bandwidth with higher ping times. Satellites by the way, ping is the amount of time it takes to make a connection. You send information, and it's like it takes so long for that information to get hit, get met, and start sending the data. And the data itself takes a bit of time in itself. Because of those ping times, that's like if you're playing a first-person shooter, every time you shift direction, you change it, you're sending a little bit of information. It's going to take a while for that information to get up there. So you can't play an online first-person shooter. Or you can. When I had Viasat, I was barely able to play an MMO. Barely. So let's go ahead and keep talking about this right now. It's the ping. I just wanted to explain the ping. For those who don't know, the distance creates real-world ping times in order of about 600 to 1200 MS. I don't know what that stands for. Since there will be over 4,000 Starlink satellites, they can be in lower orbits, reducing the distance between the end user and a satellite. Shorter distance makes for better ping time. Starlink is projected to operate at around 25 to 50 MS in pings. That means that's pretty quick, actually. You can play an online game, you can play a first-person shooter. Right when you hit that down button, right when you shift gears, right when you tell the character to turn around, it's going to turn around right then. There's not going to be any lag. There's not going to be any input lag. There's not going to be any of that. Well, there shouldn't be. There shouldn't be. Maybe you'll notice a tiny bit. I don't think so, though. Then they're going to talk about the competition. OneWeb, 648 Gen 1 satellites to be launched by, I don't know how to pronounce this, plans to start selling services in 2020 in Alaska, received key approval in June 2017 from the FCC, launched the first 6 satellites in February 2019. Future plans of up to 1,980 LEO and 2,560 MEO Gen 3 satellites total. And that's OneWeb. HughesNet, which, Gen 5, 25 megabits per second download, and I think that's their highest, and 3 megabits per second upload, about satellites in geo orbit. That's satellites that are in geosynchronous orbit. They're not moving. O3B, Exceed, it's Viasat. They're not Exceed anymore, they're Viasat. 12 to 100 megabits per second download, 4 satellites in geo orbit. O3B, I've never heard of this. Other 3 billion. OME, geo, high throughput satellites in orbit. Plans to, I don't know anything about this. And actually, while we're on this, because I don't think there's anything else I want to talk about, I'm going to go to their websites actually real quickly. How long have I been talking? I don't want to talk too long. God damn, my videos keep being too long. I hate this. I can actually show you what their plans are. Okay? The first plan is 12 megabits per second. That's 1.2 megabytes, by the way. I wish they'd stop going by bits and go by bytes. At first, for the first 3 months, you get $65 is all you're paying. But you're only getting 40 gigabytes. That's ridiculous. Unlimited Silver 25. Keep in mind, I don't mind paying any of these prices that they have. My problem is how much I'm getting for the price. And it's not enough. 25, I don't care about speeds either. I mean, 2.5 megabits per second would be good enough. 5 megabytes per second would be good. That's what this is. 50. Always put a decimal here, right between that final 0. So whenever they say it's this many megabits per second, you can go sit here and put a decimal right here and go, oh, it's 5 megabytes. Or about. It's close to that. So all these plans, you can see the pricing here. And you only get, the first plan is 40 gigs, 60 gigs, and 100 gigs. My problem is when it goes up to $170 is too much for only 100 gigs. They would need to go up on those gigabytes a bit more for it to be worth it. That's my problem. You're paying way more, and this is only for 3 months right here. You're paying way more for this than I feel like you should for so little. That's why I always say that these companies offer very little for too much money. They charge too much for very little. HughesNet is a worse one. HughesNet is worse than these guys. Look at these, 10 gigabytes. And I can guarantee after the 10 gigabytes is gone, they slow you down to a crawl. 20, 30. Look at how the prices skip up. $49.99, $59.99, $89.99. For 30 gigs? 50 gigabytes, $139.99. Holy crap, that's my problem with these guys. They don't offer you enough and expect you to pay out the butt. So you go to this plan, it's like 50 gigabytes, and then you get like an additional 50 gigabytes at night, basically between 2 and 8 a.m. Oh my god. I wouldn't be able to live with this. So yeah, what's offered right now in my area, which is this, and I'm only getting 30 gigs for my thing. It's expensive. So HughesNet and Viasat and wireless through Verizon, they're all hot garbage. Okay, so I'm hoping whatever they offer through Starlink is better. When you get up here, so when we look at this and we read that one part, after reading all that, I'm pretty sure and I'm pretty confident in saying that this is not for you. It's not for a lot of you who keep thinking it's for you. If you have cable, keep the cable. You're not going to get this. If you're in an area where this stuff is available, you're not going to get this. At least not at first. Maybe if they put more up into space, they'll be able to offer it more places. Maybe ultimately, but it's going to be a while. Okay? It's going to be a while. You've seen how many they wanted to launch into space. They want to launch 30,000 into space. 30,000 of these things. This video is just as long as the last one I recorded. It's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to talk about all of that. So after this video, I'm going to put up another video. The other video, I'm going to talk about my health, because I'm sure some of you are curious. So we'll do that next. So yeah, bottom line, if you have you have wired, or if you live in a heavily dense populated area and you're not a business, odds are this isn't for you. It's not for you. It was never meant for you, but one day it could be. So I want people to stop freaking out. Stop listening to the idiots in the videos who sit there and go, I can't wait to give such and such the finger. I can't wait to tell, what company is that? I can't wait to tell, AT&T to, bugger off, or F off, if you know what I mean. All these people that keep doing this, don't be idiots. Don't be stupid. Alright? This is not for you. Not right now. Maybe a few years down the line, but it's not for you right now. By next year is when they hope to have it. And I could have read that in the thing, but I've been sitting here so long. It's almost 30 minutes. I didn't want this video to be long, but there's nothing I can do about it. So yeah. And that's it. Just, I wanted to correct a lot of videos out there. I'm not the only video that made this. If you're in a farm, if you have a big ranch or a farm and you're too far from things, they don't want to run the wire, this is going to be for you. If you're in a very small populated area like I am, with not enough people, and I can guarantee you not everybody where I live is going to be wanting satellite. They're not going to want internet. They're not going to care about internet. I'm probably the only nerd who lives here. I'm the only nerd. I'm the only geek. I hate that term. I'm going to stick with nerd. I'm the only nerd. I'm the only computer nerd. I'm the only guy in this neighborhood who gives a rat's butt about any of this kind of stuff. So I'm probably going to be the only guy in this neighborhood who gets this, unless I can show them why it'll be worth getting. If I can show people around here why it'll be worth getting Starlink, then maybe I'll get some more. I can get some more customers on board. I'm pretty sure there's some guys out here, folks out here. My brother's fire department can use this. They've been wanting a better internet service to help with dispatch and whatnot. This could help. This could be great. They keep struggling and trying to bargain with Verizon and AT&T and T-Mobile, and it does them no good. So this will be for them too out here. Being in a rural area, man, maybe I can convince some people who want to get this service. So that'll be good. But again, this is not for you if you're in a densely populated area. Not right now anyways. It's going to be a while. Okay? If this is something that ultimately is offered to you, you're going to be waiting a while. But that's it. That's all I got to say about this. This has been The Goof. Right at 30 minutes. Goodbye.